All right, we're sticking with football in this Tuesday edition of the SportsMax Zone. Well, a variation of the sport, that is, and I say that because we're talking about football in the air. Yeah, Jamaica will be represented at the inaugural Drone Soccer World Cup set for September in South Korea, the birthplace of the sport, which is officially recognized by the World Air Sports Federation. Drone soccer is the embodiment of STEAM education, that's science and technology, engineering, mathematics, and arts, as the sport rises across the 5 continents of the globe. The Federation of International Drone Soccer Association, FIDA, has renewed its goal of growing aviation across the globe by establishing a World Cup that is hoped to become a prominent fixture on the global sports calendar. Yeah, joining us in studio to tell us more about the Land of Wood and Water's involvement is Jamaica Drone Soccer President Dervon McKillop. First of all, Dervon, before I even get into the serious aspects of this thing, yes, why is it drone soccer and not drone football?
All right, so I believe from a global perspective, we in the sport refer to it as soccer, but I mean in the Caribbean hemisphere, when you talk to a lot of people, they're like, yo, it's football. So we use the term interchangeably. However, from an official standpoint, we say drone soccer.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So talk to me about how this thing came about. How did Jamaica get involved in drone soccer to the point where you're now going to a World Cup?
All right, so my involvement in drone has spanned over 10 years. I'm a professional drone pilot, licensed under the Federal Aviation Administration in the U.S., as well as under Transport Canada in Canada. So I operate a commercial drone services company in the Cayman Islands, as well as also in the U.S. and extended arm in Jamaica and a few other Caribbean countries. So that's where my passion, my work with drones have been. But outside of just working with drones in the commercial perspective, I have what is called a Drones in School program that has been running in over 4 countries for 4 years now. And that's where my involvement with STEAM and STEM comes into play, where we go into schools across Jamaica, in the U.S., and the British Virgin Islands to bring our Drones in School tour. And so as an innovator, as somebody who's working with drones on a cutting-edge perspective, I'm always looking at new ways to get technology in the classroom to engage students, but not only engage students, also engage folks who might not be able to physically play football, but they are able to control a drone. And so that's where the inspiration came from. And being a part of a global network of drone pilots, as well as within the drone industry, it's tightly knitted. I have managed to travel the Caribbean and travel internationally to be connected with folks from as far as South Korea, China, Singapore, right across the world. So that got me introduced to folks in South Korea and counterparts in the U.S. who are already involved in drone soccer. And it fits very well with our Drones in School program because it's an added aspect of STEM, STEAM, and I found that it would be something very good to bring not only to Jamaica, but because we also have an association in the Cayman Islands. Yeah. That's where I also reside.
And the Cayman Islands are going to the World Cup as well.
And we're preparing the Cayman Islands to also be represented at the World Cup. Yeah. So when it comes on to we finally got involved, and I made the decision to say, I'm going to bring this home. I toyed with the ideas of drone soccer, integrating it into schools, but also make it a household sport, just as the way we have Issa Boys and Girls Schools Football Championship.
Big goals there.
Yes. And so I was like, okay, a year plus of building out the plans, working together with our internal team, and I decided that okay, they were having a pre-World Cup games in California in March. And the counterparts from South Korea is like, hey, Dervon, you have to be here. and I made the decision that to travel out to South Korea, California, Palm Springs, California, in March, and participated in the pre-World Cup games, and it was awesome. I would say to anybody who's watching, when you see drone soccer on screen, but when you get into an arena or an auditorium and you experience drone soccer, it's a different feeling.
Yeah.
Overall, when we talk about drone soccer, it's not just for students in school. Drone soccer is what is called a cross-generational game. It means that a student who is 9 years old can be playing drone soccer with someone who is 30, 40, 50, 60 years old.
How does it work?
All right, so the game is played in what is called 3 sets. We have drone soccer ball, as you can see, that is the balls are enclosed in a protective cage.
Specific size ball, though?
Yes, there are specific size balls. So this ball is what is called a Class 40 ball. It's the official ball of FIDA, and the ball that you will see on set.
This one here.
This one is a Class 40. The ball that you will see on set during the demonstration is the Class 20 balls, which those are the smaller balls, all right? But in terms of how drone soccer is played, it's played just like regular soccer. You have penalties, you have players with positions. So the 5 key positions in drone soccer, starting from the defense line, you have a keeper, you have what is called a libero, which is the front defender, a sweeper,
like volleyball, no?
a sweeper, a guide, and a striker. The striker is the assigned drone soccer ball that can actually score goals in the Class 40 game.
Okay.
Now, in the Class 20 game, there's two assigned balls that can score goal, but in the Class 40 is only one ball that can score, and it's the striker.
Okay, wow.
Sounds like we need to see it. What say you, Mariah?
Yeah, I'm better at visual things. So if you show me, I'll understand.
Yeah, I think so too. Lance?
Yeah, well, I've got two gentlemen here, Carl and Matthew, who will illustrate to us exactly how the game goes. But it's going to be condensed because, as you just heard, it's usually 5 per team. But because of the space that we actually should have been doing this outside, but it's a little bit windy outside at the moment, and it wasn't conducive to having this demo. So instead of having a bigger area to work with, Carl and Matthew will have 2 players. And we'll see now exactly how that is done, because so we want to just see how that's done here. As you can see to my left and my right, we have the 2 goals, and as we just heard, they actually say Cayman Islands drone soccer. So we know that the Cayman Islands, along with the Jamaicans, are pretty big in the event at the moment. But let's get the 2 competitors going so we can understand exactly how the game plays out. I gather, Carl and Matthew, that these are the goals, and you'll be trying to score. Opposing teams will be trying to score in these two hoops. Yes. Well, let's go. Let's get them pumped up and going. Yeah, do you have red cards in this? Because we saw some red cards in our local football last night.
Not red cards, but there are penalties, and there are also sanctions for the game. So normally during the game of play, someone can't necessarily deliberately bump their drone soccer ball into someone to crash their ball, but they can use the ball to move the other player's ball out of the way for them not to score. Yeah. So there are actually sanctions if you deliberately crash or deliberately damage someone's drone soccer ball.
All right, I would like to see this illustrated, though, because if you were suggesting that to prevent your opponent from scoring, you've got to sort of block them. But you're saying that you can't crash into them. So let's get these drones up, and let's physically see how this plays out. So they're energized now. All right, so you're defending.
So while they're actually in motion, what normally happens when it's all 5 balls in the arena, what normally happens is the keeper is steady in the goal, moving his controller to ensure that the striker doesn't score, and keep on moving the ball from side to side, controls to actually. So if it's a case where a player once as goal is scored, what normally happens is that the striker has to fly back to the half line before attempting to score again. So pretty much what he will do is go through the goal, flies back to the half line, and then go ahead to score, just like a normal football game. When a goal is scored, you go back to center line and continue the game of play.
Yeah, all right, all right. Carl, you're to my left. Yeah. Which is the drone that you're operating? This one close to you here?
No, the one right.
This one? Yes. And Matthew, you're with the other one. So can you defend one of the goals for me? Let's see Carl trying to score and have you defend the goal. How does that play out?
Matthew, go to your net.
So you're defending this goal. There was just contact. That's allowed?
That is allowed, yes.
So you just got through the goal?
Yes.
Oh, so the contact was gentle enough that it wouldn't be deemed a crashing and an infringement?
Yes.
Okay, I get that. But this takes a lot of skill and practice, I suspect.
Yeah, it does, definitely.
So how big is the playing area that you had? Because I know that you just have two competitors at the moment, so this is condensed. I would say probably 6 feet between the two goals. Typically with five players per team, what would be the length of the playing area?
So the length of the playing area, can go ahead?
Yes.
So the length of the playing area is for the class 20 is 8 meters by 4 by 3 meters. So that would be the length of the arena for the class 20.
Okay. So the World Cup will be what level? What would the measurements be for the World Cup?
So for the World Cup, we'll still keep the standards as the 8 meters by 4 by 3 for the class 20, and then for the class 40, there will be a bigger arena that is used for that as well.
Okay.
However, for the class 40, what we typically use is what we call air bounce. Arenas that are inflatable, that are also portable, that can be moved around.
All right. There was just a collision there that I wanted to find out from you if that would be regarded as an infringement, because it looked like a stronger contact than the ones I had seen previously.
No, it's not an infringement. That is not an infringement. Actually, when you look at the gameplay for the class 40, you'll realize that the impact of the drones on each other is much more intense. So when we talk about deliberate infractions or deliberately trying to damage someone's drone, is hitting it without the player necessarily being in the game of play or in the zone for scoring, right? So if we have some videos of the class 40 game when that I played also in California in March, where the drones, you could hear the impact of the drones in the arena, like impacting heavily on each other while they're flying, and the class 40 drones are very what we call heavy impact. So you'll hear them clapping beside on the cages of each other. The cages are actually built with what is called some carbon fiber, but inside of the caging, it's actually what is called some carbon rods are inside it that keeps the cage firm so that it can take an impact on the ground and not break apart.
Yeah, in 15 seconds, how long does a game last? I know you said it's played in 3 sets.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a set lasts 3 minutes. So after each set, there's what is called a 5-minute recovery and maintenance time for you to change battery, repair the drones for any damages that is done to the drone. So typically a game normally lasts anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes.
But how can you get in trouble? Like, like in football and stuff, you can be penalized for certain things. What are some of the areas that you can get in problems?
All right, so Just the same as any sportsmanship code of conduct applies to the game, and we call it on the field, even though it's in an arena. So there's a code of conduct that governs the game. There's also rules that if, say, for instance, you choose to disobey a referee or an official that's refereeing the game, or you choose to also dispute the points or the score, you can be penalized on it, because at the end of the day, the scoring, the referee or the goal scorer referee or official has the final say. Yeah. However, when it comes on to an official or a coach of the team can also dispute the score. However, again, the results of the game is only up to the referee to make that final decision.
Oh, by the way, what was the score there? 8-4?
I think about 8-4.
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
I counted. See, I'm not bad.
Well, you can do some commentary. Ricardo is up for that. He loves to volunteer me for things. Today I'm volunteering him
Definitely.
on international television. He's really good at commentary.
It's not a problem. How much does it pay? Let's talk about it while we go to break.